Good evening, Robert Scribbler filming for the OBX Wave Report Remote. On vacation here in Murrells Inlet, and we've got small waves in the range of about 1 foot plus breaking here at Murrells Inlet today. Depending on tide, wave conditions are a little bit better, and did manage to get out and eke out a few rides in this small sandy shore break. Nonetheless, waves in the Outer Banks looking much better today, especially in the early morning, in the range of 2 to 4 foot and glassy. Heard from some friends that went to Jeanette's and said it looked really good. Waves across the Outer Banks this morning, very nice and still pretty decent, in the range of 2 to 3 foot and semi-clean. Weather conditions, looks like we're going to expect to have a little bit of a nor'easter forming for the Outer Banks and Mid-Atlantic by Wednesday and Thursday, and waves could get rather large if choppy in the Outer Banks by that time. And also out in the North Atlantic, we've got Tropical Storm Philippe and a couple of tropical disturbances that the National Hurricane Center is keeping an eye on. All right, so let's get down to some of the local observations from the buoy and wave monitors for the Outer Banks as we look at the much calmer waves breaking here at Murrells Inlet. So right now at Nag's Head, waves are 2 to 3 foot and semi-clean, with an east-southeast swell at 3.4 foot and 8 seconds. Southwest winds at 11 miles per hour. Air temperature 77 degrees, ocean water temperatures 75. And then up in Virginia Beach, waves also in the 2 to 3 foot range and clean. At Rodanthe, waves 2 to 3 foot plus and semi-choppy, with an east-southeast swell at 3.5 foot and 8 seconds. South-southwest winds also at 11 miles per hour. Air temperatures 74 degrees, ocean water temperatures 75 degrees. And then heading on down south to Buxton, we've got 2 to 3 foot waves, slightly choppy conditions. East-southeast swell at 3.4 foot and 8 seconds. West-southwest winds at 11 miles per hour. Air temperatures 78 degrees, ocean water temperatures 77. And at Frisco, 2 to 3 foot waves, slightly choppy conditions. And last of all here at Murrells Inlet, 1 foot plus waves and semi-choppy conditions. All right, so out in the Atlantic Ocean, things are getting rather stormy. Once again, we do expect a nor'easter to develop off the Mid-Atlantic on Wednesday and Thursday and bring some large choppy waves to the Outer Banks in the range of 6 to 8 foot. And also, the National Hurricane Center has stopped issuing updates on Ophelia, which went post-tropical this morning, although the remnants of Ophelia are providing some rain and flood risk for the U.S. Northeast. The second system the National Hurricane Center is monitoring is Tropical Storm Philippe, which has strengthened a little bit today, getting up to 50 mile per hour maximum sustained winds, moving west-northwest, and is likely to turn toward Bermuda over the coming days. This system is likely to enhance the swell in the Outer Banks as it approaches Bermuda. And the third system that the National Hurricane System is monitoring is a tropical disturbance in the eastern tropical Atlantic. This system is slowly becoming more organized and has now a 60% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone over the next 7 days. We're going to have to keep an eye on this thing. And last of all, there is a system of interest in the Gulf of Mexico. It is in the southeast Gulf and is now showing a 10% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone. We'll have to monitor that because once the system is in the Gulf of Mexico, it is very, very likely to strike land. So even though this particular disturbance only has a 10% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone, right now it's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. All right, so thank you for joining me for this session of the OBX wave report as I film to the south and east from Murrells Inlet, a beautiful evening sky with moon overhead and some small waves breaking. I am, of course, on a remote location, but I will still be providing you guys with updates for the OBX wave report, as well as filming the beautiful conditions here in Murrells Inlet. And as I always do, I'd like to ask you guys to please do everything you can to help protect our coastlines from the impacts of climate change driven by fossil fuel burning. The primary action that we can all perform to help protect our coastlines is to right now speed the transition to clean energy being wind, water, solar, and electric vehicles, as well as the mass electrification that will help enable the clean energy transition. Clean energy transition will help reduce the impact of carbon emissions by reducing fossil fuel burning. Fossil fuel burning, of course, is the primary driver of the climate crisis, and the impacts to our coastline to include rising sea levels, more intense storms, ocean heat waves, and ocean acidification. All right, so thank you for joining me once again for this edition of the OBX Wave Report, and I will be back with you guys shortly.